Today, many are celebrating the life and the legacy of Martin Luther King. I remember reading about him as a young child, and I learned so much. I didn't quite understand it at that time, but it was very empowering to learn about it growing up as a young black man. He was, at the time, for me, not only a leader, but also somebody that I can look up to and pattern my life after. So today, I want us to focus on four simple things that we can learn from Martin Luther King's legacy. In the first place, purpose. Have a purpose that is bigger than yourself. The purpose that Martin Luther King had was simply equality. Equality was something back then that was very rare. It was very scarce because it was black against white all the time. You know, the blacks had to go outside or had to go behind the building to get food, or they were not uh, racially profiled correctly. To whereas when it came to getting on buses, they had to go to the back seat. And I think about the stories that my father would tell me, how they used to get hosed down, with the hose, and how it could be so powerful, the fire hose, that it would tear into your skin, or the way that the police officers would beat you with billy clubs, and how a lot of times you would get arrested just if somebody would say, a white person, of course, would say that you raped them or you hurt them. We can go on about Emmett Till and the things that he endured. And so many people, just from my state, Mega Evers, he lost his life. It was a massive, massive purpose for blacks to have equality. That was Martin Luther King's purpose. He set out to create all types of sermons, all types of meetings, all types of rallies to solidify this one particular purpose. And so when you're thinking of your own purpose, is the purpose bigger than you? Because see, when a purpose is bigger than you, it will take off. You will have not only your ideas to be realized, but also other people will join in to help you. Which leads me to number two. Have a community of individuals to push forth your purpose, to push forth your legacy. This may be your family. This may be your friends. This may be some trusted coworkers. Whoever that you can involve in your purpose, those who are serious about it just as you are, add them to the list. Because that's one key thing that a lot of us forget about, is we have to have community. We have to have a connection. We have to have a network here. Right now, you're listening to me because you're a like-minded person that is trying to build a legacy. Martin Luther King did that very, very thing. And his legacy still lives on today. So what does your community look like? Is your community to where it's more than just you or one or two people? Do you have a big idea? Do you have a system in place that adds on more and more people? Do you have something that builds men up or builds women up? A purpose. Those two things go hand in hand. Purpose and community. Not only that, but he had faith. This faith extended when he was getting spit on, when he was getting talked about, when he was going through downtrodden through his life. because it was not easy to experience the types of things that he endured during those times. We all know the story. We all seen the documentaries. We know exactly what he went through. And the things that he went through, some of us would not be able to deal with today. We have grown up in a society that does not like to be criticized. We have grown up in a society that does not like anybody to judge, that does not like anybody to criticize anything that they're doing. And so imagine growing up in a time to where your word was your bond. And really the only thing that you could do was speak out. Because if you tried to fight with a weapon or tried to gather a bunch of people to go in a massive way to where you're aggressive, going against law enforcement and the police, you would be killed. And not only would you be killed, but your whole family would be killed. You may even been burned. You may even would be lynched. It was a lot of heinous acts going on back then. And one of the things that kept Black people strong back then was their faith in God, their faith in Jesus Christ. And a lot of people talk about this in a negative way as to how those who advocated for slavery would use this very thing to mess around and keep people suppressed and to keep people brainwashed. I will tell you it's very true that men would do that. But I want you to think about that there is somebody evil in every single profession that you can think about. It don't matter if it's a police officer, if it's a doctor, if it's an entertainer, football player, there's somebody evil in every profession. And where there are evil men, there's always going to be somebody to manipulate the system in order to benefit themselves and their ideal. And so just because evil men were misusing the Bible does not make the Bible wrong. And I want you always to remember that. Your faith, the very morals and values that you stand on, will be the very thing that makes or break you. It will be the very thing that either cause you to keep going or to stop altogether. And I've told you this before, you will experience some rough times, my friend. You're going to experience some times to where it seems all that is left to do is quit. Martin Luther King experienced that. Those African Americans in the old times, they experienced that. But they were able to sing some old Negro spirituals. They were able to reside in the scriptures of the coming day where they will have a new heaven and a new earth. They were able to have strong faith. You need to have the same thing. Don't allow this life to discourage you to where you cannot be your best self for you and your family. See, your children are watching you. Your children are patterning themselves after your legacy. Which leads me to the final thing we can learn from Martin Luther King, and that's his dream. His dream was realized. Though when he mentioned the dream, people could not accept it in the marketplace. They actually could care less, a lot of them. There were a few who were in the minority that understood the dream, but the vast majority could care less. But you look around today and you see Martin Luther King Drive in every state. You see that on today we recognize him as a time set aside, a special day. Martin Luther King's Day. You think about Coretta Scott King and the whole King family and how they have continued the message. Some even leading to the White House. Some even being advocated in schools, whether it's regular college schools or either the historical black colleges. So many people have continued this dream. Martin Luther King had the torch and he handed the torch to you and me. Now his life was snuffed out, it was taken away. Another part of his dream that we have to understand is everybody is not going to agree with your dreams and your ideas. It may be so big or it may be so radical that those who are in power, those who are the powers that be, don't want you to realize that dream. And they don't want you to encourage others to realize that dream. Nevertheless, you have to keep on pushing, even if it means you losing your very life. Martin Luther King lost his. Malcolm X lost his. Medgar Evers lost his. Marcus Garvey and so many others lost theirs. But nevertheless, they planted a seed in you and me to be great. Not be great just for yourself's sake, but great for your people's sake. Great for the world's sake. When you're in your basement, when you're in your laboratory creating wonderful things and ideas, thinking about legacy, think about a dream that's bigger than you and me. A dream that your children can live in. A dream that your family can live in. A dream that the world can live in. That's a dream that's great enough to be realized, even to the point of death. My friends, today, as you reminisce on Martin Luther King's legacy, think about his purpose. Think about community. Think about faith. And by God, don't forget about the dream. As always, I can't change your situation. Your situation is only for you to change. But remember, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody. Nobody was there to save Martin Luther King. He had to go throughout and finally experience getting shot at the end. That may not be your story, but nevertheless, you have your own destiny. You have your own book, your own chapters that you're writing in life. And I need you to wake up every day and keep going. Don't stop for the naysayers. Don't stop for discouragement. Don't stop for the little nappy head boy or the nappy headed girl. Keep on pushing forward until you have realized your dream. It all starts with you. It all starts with me. So let it be legacy.